in those cinema techniques.
Okay, I think this is set up. Oh, we're actually recording, I didn't notice. I think the exposure is good too. Okay, you have my go.
Yeah, so we have started.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. That's right. Okay. Hi, Eliot. So, how is it going?
Considering the circumstances, I'd say it's going alright.
Okay. Great. Yeah. So maybe you might start with a brief introduction yourself, where you come from.
Okay. Yeah, I'm Eliot Schwander. I come from originally from I was born in Luxembourg but grew up in The Hague and now live in Leiden. Yeah, I did my bachelor's here, physics and astronomy, and am now doing my master's in Leiden.
Oh, cool. So which track are you in now?
I'm doing the classical / quantum information track, the pilot.
Oh, the new one.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So, could you tell why you have chosen the Leiden program?
Yeah. So I was a bit unsure when I was looking at all the programs what I wanted to do, but in the end the mix of the more the data science techniques and the physics side really intrigued me. So I thought it might be interesting to study.
I see. So you have chosen probably the interdisciplinary approach.
Yeah, and also the fact that it was new and it's quite a new area in physics, so that's also excited me.
Great. So how do you like the coursework?
Yeah, it's quite nice. It's maybe at least this semester extremely computer science oriented with a lot of programming work. So that was something which could be expected, but I quite like it, but maybe I'd prefer right now also a bit more physics maybe.
Ah, I see. And how would you compare the course load with your bachelor studies?
I definitely say it's more difficult compared to a bachelor, but that is to be expected from a master's, I suppose. And I wouldn't say it's too much or anything. It's quite right.
Ah, okay. And how would you estimate the course choice, like the variety that is provided?
You have quite a bit of freedom, of course, because you can also choose from quite a few computer science subjects. I'd say there's almost too many possibilities. So you really, you kind of feel bad that you can't do it all, because there are also lots of other interesting courses I'd like to follow that I'm not doing now. So that's, I guess,
I see.
true for everyone who studies physics. But
oh, you have the whole another year also to choose from, I think.
Yeah, although my next year will mostly be research projects, so not too much time for lots of courses, I think.
Yeah, by the way, about research, have you already thought what you would like to do and maybe even chosen a supervisor?
I'm currently looking into because I have to do 2 research projects. I'm currently looking into the possibility of doing the first one at actually a company, so in an industry internship, more in the data science area, because I'd actually also like to see what's industry like before having to decide whether I want to stay in science or go to a more industry job.
Yeah, that might be a tough choice.
Yeah.
I see.
And for the second project, I'm considering maybe a project in the applied quantum algorithms group, but I haven't contacted them yet, so it's not really final.
I see, interesting. And is your plan, like, for example, do an internship in the first semester and second project in the second, or like how did you think about that?
Yeah, because the second project has to be done at the university, as far as I know, and I think you have a bit more freedom with the first one. But I'm currently trying to get the formal, the rules settled, so I know what to do.
I see, yeah. The bureaucracy might be a bit ambiguous.
Yeah, and because it's a pilot, there's still a bit of stuff that's unclear. But I send out some emails to see.
Yeah, like the track is actually done right now as you study it, so they probably do some amendments as well.
Yeah, that could happen.
Okay, so in that case, by the way, what did you think about the summer? Maybe also to spend it for an internship, or what were your plans?
For now, I don't really have any plans any like internship plans in the summer. I mean, I definitely could look into it, but for now I have some other stuff planned with some volunteering work, stuff like that, in the summer. So
Cool.
I probably don't have time for an internship.
I see, like to actually get a rest from that coursework and from science work.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds actually nice. Yeah, by the way, what kind of, like, how do you support yourself financially while you're studying?
Yeah, I don't really. Just off the record, I don't really want to go into the.
Yeah,
details of
sorry,
my
we
financial
didn't.
situation.
Sorry, we didn't mention that at the very beginning. Yeah, so once I ask you a question that you do not feel comfortable answering, that's totally okay. You just say I refuse to answer, and we just cut it out. Yeah, sorry that I did mention that at the very beginning.
Yeah, no, Neo mentioned
Yeah,
it,
but
so
still,
it's fine.
we should really mention it orally
Yeah.
here.
So
Yeah.
I mean, I could tell you guys, but I don't really want to
I see.
have it. all
Yeah,
the
so I
time.
would
It's not that
definitely-
I get drugs money or something.
Sure.
But-
Yeah, okay. Then we would definitely not put it anywhere. Yeah, but of course, if you're willing to tell, then we would be glad to
Yeah.
listen.
But on the financial side, I think it's more of a private.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Skip that question.
Yeah, we were just like some. Yeah, and by the way, so do you like live in Leiden or?
Yeah, I live in Leiden in a house with 2 other guys, so it's quite nice place.
I see renting a room.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually a classic choice, as I see here. Okay, cool. And what can you tell about the city itself? Like,
I've of course been here for quite some time now, so I really enjoy the city of Leiden. You have in a non-COVID situation, you have lots of bars and stuff you can do. So I really enjoy what it has to offer. I'm also a member of a student association, so I quite enjoy having access to a lot of associations in the city of Leiden, and we also have lots of sport places where you can do all kinds of sports. So,
oh, great. Maybe some particular sports.
I boulder, at least when it's open. But that's like climbing on a wall.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. And this weekend I will probably move a little sailboat to close to my home in Leiden. It's up to the north. You have the Kagerplassen. So I just got a boat, and I will put it
Wow.
there, so I can also go sailing.
Well, that's
Yeah.
probably way cooler than getting a car in your studies. Wow, that's exciting to hear. And And by the way, I want to ask something about Leiden. It just slipped my mind. Yeah. Maybe you want to ask something as well.
Jeez. Yeah, so you're very involved in the student life in Leiden. So pre-COVID, how does that go? And what can master students expect from the student life in Leiden?
Right. Yeah. Well, as you probably know, you have lots of student associations in Leiden. So we have like the bigger ones, of which I'm part of one of those, Augustinus. But those are really more focused towards generally towards more Dutch-speaking students, and even of those more towards like first, second year bachelor students when you want to become a member. But you also have lots of other like associations for sports, or like the Leidse Fles of the physical sciences
Study association.
the study association, where as a master student you really can easily become a member and really enjoy yourself, I think.
Now, do you find you have time to do these things next to your masters?
Well, that's hard to judge, especially considering the fact that also the association has been closed for the most part during my masters. So definitely an association like Augustinus generally takes up a bit of time, but it's something you can really balance yourself. If you find it takes up too much time, you just go less. And generally the friends you have there, they also start getting further in their studies, so they also start easing off a bit on the student,
Is
like
it
the really extreme
nice
student life.
to have this opportunity to create friends from other disciplines?
Yeah, it really helps with getting out of the physics bubble, basically, and meeting some other friends who really do different stuff and have way different, like a different view on the world and stuff like that. So it's really nice to meet those people.
And does that help you in some way in your physics education?
I guess it makes me a bit more laid back sometimes, because when you only do physics and don't really do much else, you sometimes really get you only do physics basically all day, and like getting to meet these other friends and seeing like different takes on student life, like less rigorous studying and more some people they party all the time and stuff like that. It also it makes you really think about what do I want to get out of student life, except just learning stuff. And I think that's really a nice benefit of these associations.
Yeah, God, I miss parties.
Yeah.
Well, texture resonates me a lot as well. Yeah, I remember also my experience interacting with biology students. They also have a lot to say actually about the world. Wow, great. And yeah, by the way, sorry, my mind is a bit lost.
Can I ask
today.
you one more question?
Yeah.
Because you mentioned that your master's track is a pilot. So how's it going? What would you change? Because your feedback really is invaluable now.
Yeah. What I changed? Yeah, it's a hard question. I've thought about it a bit, and for the most part, I think the current course structure is actually quite good. I really like the interdisciplinary part of seeing machine learning and quantum information in physics. But yeah, it. One thing that really that I noticed is that it can sometimes be hard to get the right prerequisites for second semester physics courses, because in the first semester you have quite a few courses you basically have to take, and that can, if you're not careful, kind of get to a, it can prevent you from being able to follow certain courses in the second semester, as you don't always have the right prerequisites.
Yeah, I understand what you mean.
So maybe, if possible, and it's quite difficult, a better balance between the first and the second semester.
How would you realize that? Is that something like maybe take courses for 2 years, so you get 4 semesters and you do projects next to it?
Yeah, that could be a solution, but I really, it's quite difficult because yeah, if you move certain like courses which are really interesting but don't require really prerequisites, like let's just say DGR, general relativity, to the second semester, then you also have to move other courses around because they require that course. So it's quite hard, I'd say, and I don't really see a solution for it directly.
Yeah, by the way, when you don't see a solution, do you retreat to the study advisor, for example, and ask maybe for some also support?
Yeah, for the most part, it isn't really a problem because there are enough interesting courses to fill up my study program. It's just that I'd like to do lots of other courses as well, but that isn't always possible with the time you have.
Yes.
And one other thing is that, and I don't know if this is the case in most tracks, but currently in my track, quite a few courses only have assignments in order to get to a grade, and very few actually have an exam at the end. So that really moves a lot of the study load into the main semester itself, and really misses the balance of combining both courses with assignments and exams at the end.
So you mean like after several months of studies, for example, and quite intense studies, you might miss some kind of a conclusion where you can actually revise all of that material?
Not necessarily, but generally a course with an exam at the end, the main like hard learning part of the course is at the more towards the end of the course a bit, and now it's because it's only assignments, for me at least currently.
Mm-hmm.
It's really scrunched up in like 3-4 months of the semester.
It's actually an interesting viewpoint because, for example, back in my country, at least from my bachelor's experience, I thought that moving your studies to the very end is nothing more than procrastination.
Yeah, for some part that's the case, of course. But I mean, combining the two, having both several courses with only assignments, basically, and courses with exams in the end can provide a more spread out course load. But it's, of course, some courses are really hard to have an exam for. And really, lots of the data science or the machine learning courses, yeah, it doesn't really make sense to focus on exam for them, because you really have to learn how to implement these techniques and stuff like that, and you can't test it in an exam. So for a lot of courses it makes sense. But
Yeah, I was noticed actually that computer
Sorry, I
science.
just want to interject. It's about time to wrap up.
I see. Oh, okay. So In
I mean,
that
you
case,
can finish your thought for sure, but
okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, so in that case, I will just continue with. Yeah, what is then your favorite course now?
Oh, that's a tough question, which I'm not
Like you've mentioned.
entirely sure what I'd like to answer. But
That's
maybe I quite like the applied quantum algorithms course,
I see.
which I'm currently following.
Okay, good. And what is? Yeah,
wait, so why is that? What do you like about it?
It's really a different way of thinking about computation and algorithms in general, because mostly the hard part is getting the knowledge out of the quantum circuit, not necessarily getting the state. So I really
So is it conceptually difficult, or is the math difficult?
I'd say it's more conceptually, but it's just really interesting to see actually what stuff can actually be sped up with quantum computation, because as you might know.
Yeah,
It's
when
not
I
a lot.
took these courses in Delft, it was really amazing the things they figure out to get it done. So yeah.
Yeah, by the way, have you considered taking some courses externally, like in Delft, for example, quantum computation as well?
I mean, not really, because there are already more courses on offer here than I have time to follow. So that's it's something that's nice to be able to do, but I don't see myself doing it anytime soon.
But you did take an honors class, right, in your bachelor's?
In my bachelor, I did take an honors class. I did the double bachelor plus program, which it comes down to taking an honors class next to it, which was on negotiation and conflict management. And it was quite interesting, because you also meet people of different disciplines, mostly like law and international politics.
And are these classes also available for a master student?
I think there are master honors classes, which you can follow. I looked into them. I think it's set up a bit different than the bachelor stuff. So you have like 3 or 4 classes you can follow, I think. But
Okay.
you also have the Leiden leadership program and stuff like that. It could be interesting.
Well, can you tell us a bit about the Leiden leadership program?
I'm not an expert by any means, but if I remember correctly, it's basically quite intense. I think a 30 credits program, which you have to apply for, and it's part of it is the negotiation stuff I talked about before, but it's also I think you work with a group on a company problem or something. It's quite interesting, but I didn't apply.
As I remember, it is in Dutch, isn't it?
I'm not sure about the Leiden leadership program. My honors class was in English, actually. So it isn't all Dutch.
That's cool. Yeah, okay, and then, probably you have answered already, but what would you say to a prospective student who considers choosing Leiden Masters in Physics?
That's a hard question to answer. I'd say really plan ahead with choosing your courses, really, because that's something I maybe didn't look at enough when choosing my first semester courses, is look at the effects choosing those courses has on the stuff you can do the second semester. Mm-hmm. So that's something I'd advise.
And you would probably like to hear yourself at the very beginning as well.
Yeah, it's not that I'm really unhappy that I did it, but it's something that's good to look at when looking at courses.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing.
Okay.
Thank you for coming. So I think we have asked all of our questions.
Yeah,
Maybe you have something to add?
I'm completely drained. Yeah, man, the second interview was a lot more difficult than the first interview because you've asked these questions already. And then Monday we have like 4 more. I don't know how we're going to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you so much. I think it's a good position to be one of the first to be interviewed.
Right. Otherwise, you guys are hearing the same thing over and over again.
Well, it's not the same thing.
Not really,
No.
actually not at all, I would say.
Okay.
That's really good.
Yeah, you have provided complete enough, Jack, I would say. And
Yeah, and also different and interesting answers. So that's really good.
you're right.
Yeah, I really liked your perspective on things. Yeah, thank you so
Okay.
much.
Thanks for having me. Very good.
Sure, yeah,
And
so,
fill out, I
Mhm.
don't know if you guys have received the survey already. It's coming, I think. It's
What survey?
about experimental labs in the bachelor, about what it should teach you.
oh, so like we can be a TA in experimental course?
No, it's we have the APS topic of the experimental